All right, back here on Sports Center. I did summer school a couple years in college, but I think summer league would have been way better.
Oh, yeah.
Number 3 overall pick, VJ Edgecombe, making his debut. Sixers taking on the Jazz. Ace Bailey also in this game, but it was Edgecombe who came out like, ladies and gentlemen, please, would you bring your attention to me? How about that little scoop move? And then way out in front of everybody for the driving dunk. A little later in the second quarter, Edgecombe can fill it up from deep as well. And then check this out. The block on Jaden Springer's layup. And then at the other end, and one. He went for 28 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 blocks. He never had a 20-point double-double in college, but he gets in his first summer league game. Ace Bailey, number 5 overall pick, making his debut. Then alongside Walter Clayton Jr., the 18th pick. They hook up there for that 3. And then Bailey off a little curl. Not a good shooting night, 3 for 13, but he had 8.7 boards. And the Jazz get the win. But, oh, yeah, he can play defense as well. 93-89 was the final.
And McMahon joins us now because he was there. Eves just said he had 8 points to Ace Bailey, 3 of 13. One of them was a 3. When you were talking to the Jazz afterwards, what were their impressions of Ace Bailey?
Howdy, Nicole. I had a chance to catch up with Jazz head coach Will Hardy, who watched the game courtside. And look, it wasn't a good shooting night for Ace Bailey. Certainly he didn't pop like VJ Edgecombe. He didn't look like a high lottery pick in terms of the offensive production. But what Will Hardy told me was he's really impressed with the length, the athleticism, the defensive effort, the ability to close ground, and the rebound. He had 7 rebounds in this game, including the biggest rebound at the end of the game to seal the victory. Will told me the offense will come, all that other stuff isn't talked about enough. And maybe the most important thing after a little bit of post-draft drama, is he going to show up? What, was he happy to be in Utah? Was he upset about it? He said he's been a great teammate. He's gotten, Will Hardy's gotten nothing but positive reviews about Ace Bailey during the 4 days of practice leading into this game. So, it's one game as an 18-year-old, one summer league game as an 18-year-old does not a career make. Despite the not so pretty shooting stats, they're encouraged with the start, and he'll get another chance Monday night. They'll be back here on ESPN then.
Yeah, exactly. All of these things take time. And as he just alluded to, you can see Ace Bailey again Monday when the Jazz take on the Grizzlies at 9 p.m. Eastern on ESPN+. Thank you, sir.
Summer League is in session, but unlike summer school, there is no syllabus. Let's show you some of the best action from Summer League play on Saturday. Dalton Connect. Bronny James not in uniform, and Steph Curry just cool visitor. Obviously, it's the Warriors taking on the Lakers. We're going the other way. Chris Manning, getting up just to get down. And here's the thing. Sometimes you need to make a business decision. And that's exactly what Cole Swider did there. Warriors are up, and then R.J. Davis out to Dalton Connect. He had a big summer last year for the Lakers. Warriors, though, get the win 89-84.
Then you got the Grizzlies taking on the team that just won the championship. That beat the Thunder. Second quarter, the lead just 2. Jalen Wells, defense into offense. P.J. Jackson's got it. Back to Wells, back to Jackson. That's a nice little slam. The 2023 and 24 second-round picks connecting there. Then in the fourth, the lead now 10. A.J. Mitchell to Flanders Fleming Jr. A spin move there. Grizzlies now up 12. How about Jackson? Baseline, 20 points, 3 rebounds. This was a Grizzlies win, 92-80.
Summer League officially tipped off Saturday night, and in the highly anticipated debut of Ace Bailey, the former Rutgers star scored 8 points as the Jazz took down VJ Edgecombe and the Sixers in Utah, 93-89. Now, the number 5 overall pick in the draft shot 3 of 13 from the field and added 7 rebounds. Number 3 overall pick VJ Edgecombe had a game-high 28 points and 10 boards in the loss for Philly. Now, in the first game of the night in Salt Lake City, the Grizzlies took down the reigning NBA champion Thunder 92-80. G.G. Jackson and Jalen Wells each scored 20 points to spark the Memphis offense, and former UConn star Cam Spencer added 14. As for the Thunder, A.J. Mitchell led all scorers with 24 points in the loss. This NBA Summer League recap is presented by AT&T. Connecting changes everything. For more, welcoming in 24/7 Sports Director of Scouting, Adam Finkelstein. Adam, the basketball world was anxiously waiting to see how number 5 overall pick Ace Bailey would fare in his Summer League debut. He scored 8 points on 3 of 13 shooting as the Jazz got the 93-89 win over the Sixers. What were your first impressions of the former Rutgers star?
Well, I thought that he struggled a little bit, quite honestly, tonight. But what I was really looking for was just his approach in warm-ups, and it was what I expected. It was as jovial as we've come to expect of him in various settings. There was a lot of talk about how he was apprehensive to be in Utah. I didn't think any of that was based in reality, at least his reality. I think most of that came from his representation. But whether you were watching the media availability on draft night or the introductory press conference or tonight's warm-ups, you could see he looked nothing but happy to be there. There was a huge fan reaction for him. His play, though, illustrated that he still got a long way to go, and we knew that. We knew there was extreme upside, but some growing pains were going to be necessary along the way. He's got to learn to operate within the flow. Didn't have a great shooting night tonight, but I think still you could see the talent, and I love the fact that they put him back on the floor in the last defensive possession of the game where they were guarding against the three-point line just to get him that rep. Not because he was their necessarily most polished defender, but to get him that game experience. That's what Summer League is all about.
Right. Now, Adam, you mentioned there was a lot of talk about that rumored apprehension about Bailey's willingness to be in Utah. He made headlines when he said after being drafted that he had no idea he was even on Utah's radar. So there were questions about whether or not he would even show up. Apparently things quieted down. So what do you make about how he's handling himself so far?
Well, again, I think a lot of that came down to the decisions of his representation. I don't think Ace Bailey has ever said he didn't want to go anywhere. And since we have seen him do the talking, I think everything has been all positive. He's been nothing but happy. Again, jovial is the word that keeps coming up with him. You saw it tonight, even down the stretch, a 3 of 13 shooting from the floor down the stretch of this game, and he was still happy and smiling that trademark smile. And it's that positive energy that really becomes contagious. And he's going to have to improve. He's got a long way to go, but we are talking about a 6'8", tough shot maker, big time athlete. And if he's got the positive mindset that he now appears to have, I think Utah is going to be very excited about his future.
Now, Ace Bailey, not the only first rounder for the Jazz. Walter Clayton Jr. also making his debut, Utah's number 18 overall pick in this year's draft. He looked like a difference maker early, Adam. What did Clayton show you in his Summer League debut?
Well, I think what Clayton showed is that he understands how the role is going to be different. Right away, 2 things were evident in his approach tonight. Number one, he was really locked in on the defensive end. He was picking up 3/4 court. He was being active, getting his hands on a lot of balls. And then number 2, he was being a distributor. He wasn't letting the ball stick. He was moving it. He was finding people. I think he ended up with 6 assists. Now, the shooting everybody knows about, although I will say that a little bit of a reality check in terms of realizing that the floor, it's a little harder to get your shot off at this level, even in Summer League, than it was in college basketball. So that's going to be an adjustment. But clearly he knows what he has to do. He's got to have a better defensive effort than he was known for in college, and has to really embrace being able to play that point guard position or slide off the ball when he was on the floor with Collier. So you saw everything from Clayton tonight, and you also saw a pretty self-aware young player who understands what he's going to need to do to stick in the NBA.
Now, on the other side of this matchup, Sixers rookie VJ Edgecombe, the 3rd overall pick, he finished with a game-high 28 points and showed off a lot of his speed and transition. What are your takeaways from Edgecombe's debut?
Yeah, VJ was really good, and this one was billed at VJ versus Ace, the opening night of the Summer League, perhaps not ironically in Utah. A program that was obviously there was a lot of speculation about going into draft night, and VJ was the best player on the floor. Not only did he put up big numbers, but I thought he did it in ways that would translate to an NBA game. Now, his role will not be the same because he was the focal point tonight, and I think that's a point worth making as well. Utah had a roster tonight loaded with NBA players, not only in their starting lineup, but coming off the bench. Philadelphia didn't have nearly the same depth of NBA talent on the floor. That allowed VJ to really assert himself as an alpha. So the role's going to be vastly different in a couple of months when the NBA season gets here, but there was a lot to like about VJ's approach, being able to get downhill, the explosive explosiveness, making plays defensively, the seriousness of his approach. I think Philadelphia fans should be very excited about what they saw from VJ, and yet still understand there's a lot of necessary growing pains ahead of him as well, especially with the shooting, which you saw tonight.
Sure, a lot of growth, a lot to build towards for the NBA season in a couple of months, but there's been a lot of excitement about the start of Summer League, which was Saturday night. So, Adam, I want to open this one up for you. Who had the performance of the night in your mind in the first night of Summer League? Take us anywhere you'd want.
I think Kyle Filipowski was really good. Let's stay in this Utah-Philadelphia game. Again, it was billed as Ace Bailey against VJ Edgecombe, but Utah rolled out a lot of their second and third year players, basically showed the local fans a glimpse at the future, and Kyle Filipowski showed what a steal he was in last year's draft. Remember, they've locked him into a 4-year contract now. He slipped on draft night, and everybody else's loss is obviously Utah's gain. He just looked like the veteran on the floor offensively. Still some things to clean up defensively, but his body looks to be in a great place. He shot the ball well from the three-point line, and just the maturity and understanding of the game was really evident, and I thought vastly different from everybody else on the court. Summer League is about proving you can fit into NBA concepts, and everything Kyle Filipowski did on the offensive end was translatable to a regular season NBA game. So I thought he was terrific, and not only that, but he made what proved to be the game-winning play for the Jazz as well.
Adam Finkelstein, thanks so much for the insight, as always. Now here's a look at the current odds to win NBA Rookie of the Year. Cooper Flagg remains the heavy favorite at -180. He'll be in action in Las Vegas next week. He's followed by Trey Johnson at +950, Ace Bailey at 10-1, and VJ Edgecombe at +1300. Coming up, something you don't see every day. See how the Twins picked up their second straight walk-off win on a bunt. Highlights next on CBS Sports HQ.